Welcome to Family Style, a show about family, entrepreneurship, growth, making this money, and all things healing and walking this journey of life together. Welcome to our family, Family Style. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Family Style. I am your girl, Ashley Muhammad. We have my brother Kel's Mania right here, Mr. Pop Culture and all things cool. My other brother and one of my closest friends, Mr. Guy Wood. And guys, I need y'all to understand. So this week, we don't have our lovely Shay with us, but we have someone incredible in her place. And when I say incredible, I mean incredible. We will get into the story of how me and him know each other very soon. But when I tell you, he is just truly just somebody that is truly a part of my story. I love him so much. And let's get into the rundown, right, of exactly who he is. So first, he is an MC. He is a songwriter. We need to, hopefully we put in applause through all of this, right? We put an applause through all of this. He's a songwriter. He is a media personality. He is an actor. He is on the Grammy board. He is my brother, Torae.
Ash, what up? What's up? Thank you guys for
I am
having me.
so happy to have you here.
This is amazing.
I am so happy to have you here. And you'll kick off what we're here to talk about, but we absolutely had to have you come in for this episode because I know that this is a topic that is very near and dear to you. You've been a part of some of these big, wide conversations about it on social. So let the people know what you're here to talk about with us today.
I mean, it's just so crazy. Like, you looking at the interaction that was happening throughout the culture, throughout the internet, throughout the Manosphere, right? This is this new term. You know, every week is a new term, right? I'm just trying to keep up with them.
Every week is a new term.
But, you know, I mean, right? They must have, the government must have just, like they dropped crack in the hood in the 80s. They dropped podcast equipment in the 2020s, right?
Right, and here we are with mics.
Right. They dropped them in Harlem for sure. But there's a divide, and that's the problem, or that's what I want to talk about, and we can figure out, you know, is it a problem or is it something that needs to be dealt with? But man versus woman, you know, black people specifically, when I feel like unity is what we need, the divisiveness continues to show itself in so many different ways, and so we just got to discuss it, because who better than us to talk about it?
Period. Absolutely. Let's kick it off with you, Kels.
I think the problem with this word manosphere and podcasts culture, I think it's two things. One, I think people are saying outlandish shit to try to get that clickbait. It's like there's no way you could possibly think that.
But let me ask you something though, really quickly. What do y'all think about people that say things like that for clickbait? Because I feel some kind of way. Are you that low of is your own thoughts that low enough that you now have to create things to say just for clickbait? Yeah.
It's very odd.
It's very odd.
So, you know, the man versus woman debate is crazy. I get tired of hearing about it. I get tired of hearing about $200 dates, cheesecake,
going
50-50.
It's
crazy. It's like, it's the same regurgitated, like, let somebody have an original thought. But just like a broken clock, once in a while, somebody comes along on a podcast, it says something really dope and insightful. You're like, yo, I never thought about it like that. It was one I was just watching recently, and I forget the podcast off the top of my head, but he was basically saying everyone's relationship is completely different. Yet we get on these podcasts and try to generalize different situations. And what I realize about podcasts is only single people are having these wild ideas. People who are married don't talk about 50-50. They be like, yo, B, today I got 90, you got 10, nigga, we got 100. It's never about money. Only single, crazy, trolling
delusional
people talking about these things. And then half these people never really been in a real relationship. So it's like, what are we really talking about?
But to your point, so when you look at generations to come, though, who are learning from these cues, these married couples and these people, after they go on, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to be left with a generation who learn from the podcast era, right? And who learn from these things. And so that's going to be ingrained into their DNA, and that's the way they're going to go about looking at things.
Because it's absolutely shaping relationships.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. You see some of the things that you know is clearly a joke, and then women start to, oh, I ain't doing all that. And then I'm like, yo, you never had a man do that. How are you going to tell me what and you're going to put up with? And then how are you going to deal with a guy and expect him to do all of these things? I'm like, you don't even bring nothing to the table to get that. I know nobody in happily married relationships, happily married couples, like, healthy couples who are talking about the things that we see on social media. So it's like, who is your real audience? It's the weirdest thing in the world.
But also, you know what? In this conversation of like men and women, right? Like, and I know many people may not agree, and I hope that this is not a hot take because I don't think that it should be. But I'm trying to remember, when did just being a woman who had brains, who turned your house into a home, who knew how to multiply and what you give them and turn it into, you know, a bountiful life, right? When did that become, when was that not enough? When was me just being a woman and encompassing everything that I have and that I bring to the table as a woman, when did that stop? Why do I now have to swing from a chandelier and bring all of these, bring a bunch of money and bring all of these things to the, like, when did that become not enough, right?
I guess with the silicone, baby.
it came in with the CC.
Well, as I sit here with my fupa, I guess I'm still enough because I just don't understand that.
It came with the unrealistic wants of a woman. When you see a woman that does not exist, you see on Instagram,
right,
44 breasts, and then her waist is 21, and then her hips is 86, and that shit just doesn't make sense.
I seen her.
I know her act.
Right. You follow her.
From the Finster, though. From the Finster. Not about the
But that's what men start to gravitate towards, and we know that's not real.
Right.
We don't really want that. We like that. We might like it.
To Ashley's point.
Child, don't get me started here.
That's the part right there.
But to your point, Ash, to your point, I think it came when men started to combat all of the things that women wanted. So now men came up with all these unrealistic goals that women have to do and what we expect from women, that even as a man, I'm like, that's unrealistic. If we both work, there's no way you should come home and have to cook, clean, and do all that. If we both work. Back in the days, back in the 50s and 60s, the women did all of that. Because this is the misconception. The misconception about, grandpa paid all the bills. I don't even think a lot of people realize that women aren't allowed to get IDs. Women literally could not work. So that may have worked for that time, but it don't work now because I know women who want to get to it. So I can't expect you.
I'm that woman.
And
I would never want, you couldn't pay me enough to be a stay-at-home mom. And that's
I wouldn't want to mess with stay-at-home mom.
To no one that loves that and is a nurturer, and that is who they are.
That's not
but there is nothing in my bones that would want me to stay home with my, and I love my kids, but bro, where is your dad? Where are you at, please?
Here's another thing, though. Here's another part of the conversation. When you talk about expectations and the unrealisticness of them all, it's also like, go be the breadwinner, but also spend time with me, but also, take me out, but also you got to earn this amount, but also you got to pay all of these bills. So when does a man have the opportunity and time to be all of these things? Very I can't be up under you and make $500,000 a year and, you know what I'm saying, nurtured and be emotionally intelligent and be physically strong and could change a tire and could build a house, but also I got to go, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so all of it becomes unrealistic, and like we spoke earlier, it's just about the balance in your particular relationship. And
that's what we're not paying attention to. Every relationship is completely like Shay and Guy relationship is beautiful to me, but that's not everybody's relationship. So everything doesn't work what works for you guys, or like with you and Moo. It just doesn't work. And I think people look at relationship like, I need it to work like that. He pay all the bills. But I'm like, that dude is also an NFL player. Like, I work at the motherfucking post office.
All the bills.
Like, it's very unrealistic. And then, like you said, I wouldn't, as a man, I don't want to mess with a woman who's a stay-at-home mom. That's not what I'm used to. I'm used to a strong, dope woman doing dope things, somebody that could go out and get it. That's dope to me. Somebody being a stay-at-home mom is like, you're a roommate. You're not a mate to me. You're not somebody I want to build with. I don't want a roommate. I want somebody to be like, yo, babe, this is what I'm about to do. Yo, go for it. I love encouraging who I'm dating and doing dope shit.
But you want to know what? That's not, a lot of men don't feel that way. But they would prefer that the woman stays
I'm like that because of you.
For sure. So that they can, exactly what I was about to say. And so that was going to be my next question to y'all. Like, why do you think so many men feel like they need to be in a place where they can control what their partner or their spouse does? Because that's also something that's never resonated with me. You know how I am. You'd be like, oh, that'll never work for you.
I just feel like that's a weak man. A weak man wants to control you. A strong man wants you to go out in the world, do what you got to do, because he knows that you coming back to him. But a weak guy wants to control you. So what he does is he used the money, he used the power and keep you, but he's not going to be able to keep you. Because what happens that plays out.
For sure.
That plays out. Then you start rebelling. Then the cable guy comes in.
But here's, the other
UPS guy.
Yeah.
The other part to your point.
Delivering more brown.
Yo, the other point to your point, guy, is a lot of women, because they're used to dealing with bullshit men, once they get a man that has encouraged them to go out and get it, they don't know how to deal with it. It feels like game.
Right.
And that's another part of it. When you dealing with a man, like, see, because of like Ash and Shay and all of the women that's in our lives, I only know women that want to go out and get it. So that's all I'm going to encourage.
Right.
I'm never going to encourage you. Nah, sit there, I got it. If you want to be like, nah, I don't know women. I've never dealt with a woman who wants to sit down.
Right.
Yeah.
I know women who want to go out and get it. I'm going to encourage you. Yo, I think that was a dope idea that you did. But sometimes a lot of women deal with men who don't want that. And then when you do it, they thinking you running game on them.
Yeah,
And I'm like, yo, it's not game. I really want you to win. And that's the part of the conversation nobody really pays attention to.
I think with being in control and being the money maker, and sometimes every man should go through that. Because then they're gonna realize that they really don't want that shit.
Right.
You want what you think you want. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So you get it.
Yeah. Everybody want to pay cash for a car. That was the dream when you're in the hood. Oh, I pay cash. And you walk out the dealer with $12. You know what I'm saying? When you could have financed it, kept your money, kept your $50,000 in your pocket and use it to make other money.
Right.
But we not being so smart at times.
Yeah.
We want what we see the next stupid person do. Until you realize that
Wait, this doesn't make much
that
sense.
don't make
It don't
sense.
make
no
So, at one point in my life, I wanted to pay all the bills.
Yeah.
Until I got all the bills.
Right,
like, wait,
right.
Then
didn't even know we had this.
She started looking
right.
like cable and PSE&G and the water bill, and I said, she ain't sexy no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I need a 50-50 partner. I need somebody that can help me.
Right. That's what you said.
I got
me.
my shit
Help
together.
me.
Help me.
Right.
Here's another part of the conversation. I'm gonna take it a little further. I'm gonna take it a little more left. Let's also talk about the fallout of what happens in our communities, the Black communities, right? So you coming up in the 80s, the 90s, you know what's happening as far as the drug trade,
Yes.
and you know what's happening there. So now you got a lot of young Black men that are dead or in jail. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of single mothers who got to figure it out. So now the kids may be being raised by their grandparents. The mother's trying to figure out a way because her hustler boyfriend is no longer the provider. You know, so maybe she makes her way to college. Maybe she gets into the workforce and the work field. You got to remember, for a really long time, Black women started to earn more than Black men could in certain areas, in certain businesses and certain assets. And so you got that part in there too, because now you got women looking at, well, he only make $40,000 a year, or he just UPS, or he just FedEx, or, love to everybody. What I'm saying is, but when you have corporate women, they don't want to date what they deem below,
down.
You know what I'm saying, or down. It just becomes a lot of a portion of the divide, because now you got, maybe blue collar men who aren't good enough for certain white collar women, et cetera, or you're not educated, or you don't mix with this crowd of people. And so you still get into this space where we start to shift further and further apart.
Right. But let me ask you this. Is there a problem with women not wanting to date down?
I think it's all individualized. You know what I'm saying? Like, one down for one person might be another.
Yeah.
So if the goal is to reach 100, and we understand that financially she makes more money, but he brings a bunch of other things to the table, is it down?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or is it a compromise?
And that's the part where I think social media comes into play, because for the look of things, people would not want to do it.
Right.
That he could be your soulmate.
Yeah.
Right.
But simply because you feel like, because you work at, Goldman Sachs and he works for UPS, but y'all are a dynamic team.
Yeah.
Right.
He is incredible with your kids. He, for all intents and purposes, it literally is perfect. But because it won't look perfect to the masses, people will say, I don't want to do it. And you denying yourself love,
happiness,
simply because of how it will look.
Even before it was the masses, because now you got a whole social media world that you got to impress as well. But a lot of times that shit just came from your friends and family.
Yes.
That was your first, your real social circle, right?
Yep.
Before it was social media, it was your social circle. And, well, girl, why you with him? But you get to those places and guys don't feel like the breadwinner, or they don't feel masculine in those relationships, and now they do things, you know what I'm saying, that detriment, you know, whether it be their freedom or, you know, the integrity of the relationship, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a lot that comes along with it.
So like I remember back in the day where people introduced their spouses just before social media, their spouse to someone, they'd be like, "Oh, what does your husband do?" And I always thought that was a weird question.
still
Like,
do that.
what the
Yeah,
fuck does it
that's
matter
just
what he
being
does?
nosy.
Right.
I'm like, what? I never understood why people ask that.
That's
Like,
just being nosy, B.
now you can see. Now
Yeah.
I love when people tag me and you being nosy. Like, oh, okay, that's what he do. Like, that's kind of dope.
You
You know
really
what I'm saying?
do it. You
Yeah,
do
well,
it.
Yeah.
I love seeing happy couples on Instagram. You know, of course, it's some surface level shit that they're showing, but I love seeing people who I assume are happy on social media because there's a lot of bullshit going on. And then the worst part is when you see someone you assume is happy and then they fall out and then they get just nasty and messy. Like, fuck, what happened to my fairy tale? Like, that's the problem with social media.
That's good to see though, because you gotta stop making everybody else goals. You know what I'm saying? Like, because what is presented to you is not a 365 day a year, 24/7 situation. Everybody got their ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? But if you fight through it and you power through it, that's the strength of a relationship, and that's love. And when people put you on a pedestal or put your relationship on a pedestal and it falls apart and these things start to come out, then people will feel, you know, they feel disheartened to the whole situation. Right.
It was all a lie.
Well, honestly, it's like we all go through our shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we fight through.
But it is nice to see when you see people go through their little things, and
but you see what
it's a realistic.
To Kel's point, because we've seen this, because we have a lot of the same friends.
Right.
So what he's speaking of more of the terms of you be so in love. And then just natural things happen, whatever, you break up, and then all of a sudden he was the worst person. He was the devil spawn.
Right.
And you like, bro, he was your soulmate 3 weeks ago.
I seen a meme today that said you find out more about a person after the breakup than in the relationship, and that's the craziest realization. You like you're a completely different person, and they tell everybody all these things that they hated about you after the fact. You like, what the fuck are we really doing? Like, what were we doing?
But you know, with Instagram, it's like you just showing the best part, who you would love to be, your representative. You're not gonna go in there and be like, "Yo, I'm
a piece of shit."
Yeah, I'm 6 months behind on this. My wife don't know. I've been gambling. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm doing on these podcasts. They basically tell you, I'm a full of shit person. In a different way.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
To bring it back to that space, right? As we talk about the Manosphere and the podcasting and all of that. It's no different than, because all it is for engagement, right? So it's no different than when these magazines or these companies put out the best albums list, and they put out these think pieces, and they put out your top 5 this and the greatest movies of all time. And people know that they're going to throw in a couple of those things to get people riled up and to get the conversation going.
And then a lot of times, if you listen, so when they do these little 15 seconds vignettes of the podcast, if you listen to the whole show, the point is actually very different from that little clip that they're showing you. But like, I'm not listening to 2 hours worth, but you just made me mad from that 15 seconds. So I'm gonna write 400 think pieces.
But watch all of this. Watch all of this.
Watch all of
make
this.
sure you watch
This show is not like
run this.
This show ain't that.
We talking fly shit.
until it's time to talk.
But that's the thing. Like, a lot of these guys are saying the most outlandish shit. But then when you listen to the whole podcast, it was a reason why they said it. But they're just showing you the wild shit that they said. And then people go run with it. And then women are like, yeah, I want a man to pay all my bills. But I'm like, have you ever met a man that paid all? Nobody is paying all. No, you're doing something. If somebody's paying all your bill, you're a slave.
What was that guy? He used to let the women have it.
Oh my God.
Kevin Samuels.
Let him rest.
Yo,
he was full of shit though.
Yeah. Hey, he had an ink.
He found a lady
until they found him.
and he mastered it.
Let's let him rest.
Oh, you really think
he deserved it?
Wow. It's a whole different episode.
Oh, yeah, he might be with Pop.
With Pop?
Yeah, with Tupac. Yeah.
Not the conspiracy. That's a whole other part of the Manosphere, the conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that sends you the. Yo,
you do.
Oh, you all of them.
Yo, if you
Every last
don't
one of
like
them.
this,
Now, I'm about to
Michael-
send you my phone number
Michael
right now.
Jackson is
Send me
still
all that shit.
yo, man.
According to him, Michael Jackson is still
If
alive.
God had his
Not
own
even just
podcast,
that.
it would be the most irrational podcast
the
in
new
the world.
thing I'm on is like, if you send this to 3 friends,
That's so old school, bro.
15 minutes, you'll get a call.
I hate a
all
Ponzi scheme.
the bills that
He was never on social media, so it's new to
Yo,
him.
me,
He got that 20 years ago.
Sometimes I pass it and I come back and say, amen. And I send it. I don't really send it to you guys because I don't want you to say this old motherfucker. But my other
Sitting with
homo
other
friends,
niggas that
Yo,
will believe it.
That be sending it to him. They be sending
Lord
him
have
shit.
mercy.
yes.
So how do we get to a place where we have to understand and realize fact from fiction,
Right.
clickbait from reality,
So
fairy tales from
you know what
actual
I
factual.
think is also unfortunate about that space is that there are people that show up, right? And within their reel, it's so bad and ridiculous that it makes people be like, if that's what love is, if that's what a relationship, I don't want no parts.
Right.
There is a pastor and his wife that are actually currently viral. And this lady is basically proclaiming that God graced her to get her husband ready to go to his side chick's house.
Yeah, it's very
and
crazy.
it is this is a real conversation.
So what church
that
is this?
Right.
What church is this? Like,
it's a real conversation that they're having. And God, don't.
I'm just saying, like, everybody got their own opinion, and my opinion is it's interesting.
Guy.
Why
It
y'all
is
sitting on
interesting.
this side?
I like Tubi. I like all that bullshit. So, you know what I'm saying?
Basically, what I'm saying is that was their real life relationship. And I hope that kind of love doesn't come anywhere near any female that I've even said hello to on the street that I don't even know.
Right.
Keep that shit so far from anybody that I have ever crossed paths with.
But I think this is a perfect.
God,
I
let's
think,
not be ridiculous.
Just be open.
I like the fact that both of you guys are on opposite ends of that because
what about
ultimately,
the poly shit?
God,
ultimately it's about
it's no
what
way.
floats each person's
Where's
boat.
Shay?
Right.
We got
this is the time to talk. She's not here. The fuck?
We absolutely
Yeah, how
not.
you gonna say
absolutely,
that?
because no.
How you gonna
God,
put the
don't be
cops on me?
ridiculous.
She is going to see the episode.
She's
I'm just
gonna
saying
watch
she's
it.
going to see it.
You don't want to be on the wrong side of history, my brother.
I'm just saying.
You do not want to be on the wrong side of
For
history.
another
But
shot.
like it's different stroke. Everybody that's their situation. I don't want it.
No.
But it's their situation.
And no woman should want that. Now,
That's not for you to say.
That's not fair.
You can't say what's good for you is not good.
That's
for
almost like
everyone.
somebody saying I don't want what you
Somebody
want.
being mentally abused is good for
But we don't know she's mentally
We know
abused.
she was being mentally abused. She said in the episode, hold on, so for full context, she said, when he used to call me out of my name, when he used to say the most degrading of things to me, she's saying this verbatim, when he used to say the most degrading of things to me, when he was telling me he was not coming home for days, I knew that God placed me in that position because God's voice in my head was bigger than what he was saying and was doing to me.
Church.
I don't like the God in it.
That's church.
I don't like the God in it.
Pimping,
but I will say that.
Tell me that's not ridiculous. That's some form of mental abuse.
By our standards is ridiculous.
By our standards,
for sure.
Yes.
Certain people are raised different ways.
With Ashley.
You see the wink. You see the wink through the aviators, though.
Yo, the person that got the balls to do that.
It's kind of crazy.
What I would say as a person who I want to keep you out of trouble, guys. I want to save you. As a person
who's trying to save you,
who's traveled the world, who's been immersed in, right?
Yeah,
it's not let them cook.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, you travel and you get a chance to experience a lot of different things,
Exposure.
different cultures. Different
Exposure.
people, different upbringings. Like us as Americanized and Westernized, we got a whole different understanding of how it is in certain places and certain things.
If you're agreeing to live in a poly life, I think that's very different.
You ever been to a swingers club?
Never. I'm okay.
But they flooded. But they are flooded with people who are into it.
And what I'm saying is,
I heard. I can't speak from a person.
I like that cleanup.
Somebody told me. You know
Got
what I mean? Somebody. I seen a meme.
Yeah,
I seen a meme.
Me
so
too.
what I'm saying
I made
is,
the meme.
Right, this guy, freaky frog over here. What I'm saying is, if that is a lifestyle that you are agreeing to and that you are a part of, then I am all for. I don't have to agree, but if you love that for your life, then I love that for you. This woman was basically saying that her husband, that they agreed to be in a relationship, just the two of them, right? Which is a monogamous relationship between one person and another person. And now you're being mentally warped into thinking that that's okay. That's what I'm not okay with. Because if you want to be in a poly life, then be that. And be open with it. We've had this conversation before. Be in that life and be proud of being that. But don't allow a man in his manosphere, and maybe because he's going through menopause, and feed him his man bullshit to make you believe that this is something that you want to be a part of if you really don't.
Yeah.
Some fans on that one.
That's all I'm saying.
No, for sure.
But also,
sis, Don't let him trick you
Looking
out
right
your
into
spot.
the camera.
Don't let him trick you out your spot.
But grooming is real. Grooming is real.
It's a very
Grooming
real
is real.
thing.
That's a fact.
Yo, you know, to your point, what I always believe is that a woman happiness or how she deals with life depends on the man that she chooses to have in her life.
Wholeheartedly.
And I see it a lot in our older generation. They're not happy. They're not happy the way their life went. They're not happy the things that they did in their life. And it could all be traced back to the man that they decided to love. For whatever reason, a woman will give up herself, her happiness for a man, for children. Men are like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like that's why men move on. You know, assumingly, men move on faster than women because we don't prioritize our happiness with nobody else.
Right.
I'm going to be happy. A woman will literally sideline her own wants and goals, her own happiness, her own thoughts. That woman don't want to be in that type of relationship, but she also may be like, I don't want to lose this man. I don't want to lose the person. Whatever you're doing. And it just gets easier and easier. Like if somebody hit you, they hit you once, they hit you twice. It just gets easier and easier. So his shit just gonna get more outlandish because now she's going viral talking about this. So he about to really let it go. Like I could do whatever. And that's dangerous.
It's all bullshit. I think they doing clickbait. That's what I think.
Okay.
You also do have to take a lot of things with a grain of salt.
Really,
for sure.
like
people are doing this.
Shitty. Like we can't sit here and act like we don't know people who have been horrible partners. You understand what I'm saying? And we love them. We love them still the same because we're not in a
work in progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
So,
accountability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we here as a family and we love you, right? And we're grateful that
That's like an intervention.
Yeah,
we love you, crackhead.
Yo, is this what this show is about? Y'all ready to shame it?
We can bring the therapist in now.
Yes. Now
we got him. We got him.
Pull the curtains back. Really.
We had a breakthrough.
Really,
We had a breakthrough.
So yes,
Right.
we love you, coddling him. Like,
Right. No, but in all seriousness, right? We can't act like there are not people who have, and again, we can tie it all back to trauma, our upbringing, the things that we saw.
Yeah.
Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us didn't see healthy, loving relationships growing up. We don't know, we don't even have a clue how to navigate that world.
Yeah.
And then you grow up and now you get like, whether you in the street, now you got a little bit of popularity and girls are throwing themselves at you because they don't know no better, right? And then you don't have the wherewithal or the self-respect to say like, nah, I'm cool, right? Because you're still very young and it just is hard. And then guess what? The females, we're the ones that go through get the brunt end of that. We get the abuse, we get the spoken to crazy, we get the cheated on. And then, right, we're left to pick up the pieces. And guess what? We still have to love men at the end of the day because we need y'all. There is nothing in this life that we can get through without having y'all. That like black women, we are a force all by ourselves. So I want to make sure that I'm saying that very clearly. However, we are less if we don't have black men with us, whether it's on the forefront, whether it's, defending us. Like I've learned, funny enough, like people talk a lot about like love languages, and physical touch and, like buying, gift giving and all those things. I've learned like as I've become an adult and I'm coming into who I am, the protection of a black man is absolutely a love language of mine. Yeah. That is for sure a love language of mine. And that is something only y'all can provide. So I think when we're having these conversations, to your point, it's like, let's bring it together and realize that we need each other.
For sure.
There is nothing that one of us can do without having the other one right there aligned, having to figure it all out.
And to come over that, it's nothing like a black woman in this world, on this planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's nothing like
Point
it.
Blank, period.
As
the only black woman sitting here in this episode.
But we've got to unlearn, and we've got to heal.
For sure.
And that's what it all. I think that's the basis of all of it. You know what I'm saying? None of these things would matter if you have a better understanding of who you are and how you are and what you are. You know what I'm saying? And whose you are.
And whose
you are.
And whose you are. Very, very, very
and
important.
also who you surround yourself with.
For sure.
Some of the most healthiest things I learned about relationship is literally from the people around me. It's not from social media. I'm trying to mirror what I see because I'm around a lot of healthy love and I love to be around that. So I understand people who are not and why they don't.
And having checks and balances.
For sure. You want to know something that was so beautiful to me was I remember the four of us were together, or I think it might have been me and Moo. We were up at the office, and I remember you saying to me like, I probably would have never said this to you if we weren't having this conversation, but I've learned so much from you and Moo, and that meant so much to me because we're such a younger couple, such a newer couple compared to how long him and Shay have been together, and so I think that was so like I was like, wow, that like. Our love and our growth and our just everything that we're like trying to build together, that means something to somebody. And I think that if we did more of that, I think that, you know, there's literally nothing that as black men and black women together that we can't accomplish.
No, that's
What my late wife Kimberly, rest her soul, love
Yes,
her.
God bless her soul.
bless her soul.
She when we would be in our friends group and you know we would have real conversation and candid conversation. The thing that was always so funny to us, comical to us, is how people perceived our relationship. They was like, y'all are our beacon of hope. Y'all are our Barack and Michelle. Y'all are our, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we be like, us?
Right,
this dysfunctional shit?
That's me and Moo.
Right,
That's
but
me and Moo.
we've been at it since we was 14, so we had to learn together and grow together and stumble together, right?
Yeah.
But people looked at us and we had to understand that no matter what took us away from each other, the love always brought us back. And that's when you really lock in on what it is. I thought it was love. I thought this was love. I love this. Nah, I love you because we've been through some shit that I said, no way in the world I'm going through. And I came back with a smile on my face and open arms. And so, you know, like I was saying, just to have those, and like I was saying, just to have those relationships and people around you and those checks and balances, man, we learning from each other.
Yeah, truly.
Absolutely.
And your mate should be your best friend.
For sure.
You would hope.
A lot of
I don't know
people,
about this day and age.
No, but that's what
right.
That's what people are missing.
I agree.
Yeah.
They're missing that friendship.
I agree.
Somebody you could share everything with. You know what I'm saying? And you could be at your lowest point. You could cry in front of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Most men don't cry.
Yep.
They can't cry. You know what I'm saying?
But
Because
they were taught not to.
Yeah, that's a sign of weakness. But if sometimes you just turn your back and you just cry, and my wife would put her hand on my shoulder or rub my back, or vice versa.
Yeah, no words.
Same shit, no words. There's nothing to say.
Nothing to say.
We're gonna get through this.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get through this.
And I feel you because I really do think that if more people got into relationships and led with understanding that, because there's just some things I'm just never gonna do to my friend.
Okay.
Right? There's just certain things you just not going to do. Like you would say that. Like think about, we hold friendship to such a high regard. So if all of us, to your point, got into relationships and saying like, this person is my best, I would never want to do that to this. Think about how many of the mistakes all of us, myself included, would not have made if we just entered and we always thought with that mindset.
If you think of someone as your friend, you won't do a lot of bullshit.
There's a lot of shit that you won't do. Y'all, this was such an incredible conversation, man. Torae, thank you so much for coming. This was amazing. I think we need to have us a good old toast.
Yes.
Kels, what we drinking?
Oh, we drinking some, little mix from Uncle Lou, the HHB Smoke Vodka, Jungle Juice, we calling it. You know what I'm saying? So, family style.
Yes. Family.
I like the whatever noise that was.
Right.
Cold from Martin.
At that jungle.
Right. So here's to black men and black women getting along. Here's to realizing that we cannot do this thing called life without each other. Absolutely. And know that we are family. And so let's do it for family style.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
What's up, guy?
What up, Playboy? You're looking,
Thank you.
God. I like the look.
Okay.
Super comfortable. Tell me what you got on, dude.
I just kept it clean, man. We gave him a wax denim, black, you know what I mean? This is Cult of Individualities, my people's right here. Plain black tee, you can never go wrong. Gave him a wax denim pants, Jordan 3s, you know what I mean?
Smooth.
Yeah,
man.
Dope Boy Fresh.
For originality and smoothness on your NWA.
Word.
I like that.
Fact.
You got that. I'll give you for the fit, the jacket and pants, I'll give you a 7 for that.
Okay.
The sneakers is fire.
Okay.
I'm being very generous today. The sneakers get you another 2 points.
Okay.
And come on, show me the ice.
Yeah, we got the IA piece,
Right.
We're a walking billboard, we're a brand.
And the top.
So because I went with a classic black and white look, I gave him the white gold roll with the black face. You know what I mean?
It's a solid 12. And I'm only supposed to give out 10 points.
Come on, man.
But I'm going to give you 12. All right? Bless you, Kane.
My brother.
And me, I got on Ralph Lauren today. I got a Ralph Lauren cashmere sweater blazer with Ralph Lauren pants, purple label.
Fire.
And I got some Grinson loafers on today. Just like.
Those not a 13, right?
No.
I need a 13.
No.
I need a 13.
I have my people call you a people.
Have my phone.
Bless
my
you,
brother.
Dave.
Love.
Oh,
thank you.